Welcome to In Our Community. I'm Kathleen Moon, your host for today, and with me is Jamie Mack from Shoc. Morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Kathleen.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to talk about Jamie's passion in life, and that's an organization she has created called Shoc. You want to give us just a brief opening on that?
Yes, Shoc Services Helping Our Community is a not-for-profit organization that just gives free and low-cost counseling and budgeting to help people manage and get out of debt without having to borrow or declare bankruptcy.
Without declaring bankruptcy?
Yes.
What a phenomenon today. We don't ever hear of that. Wow.
Yes.
How does someone get out of debt? What is the first steps they would take?
Well, the first step they would take is we do a preliminary screening of all the individuals that call in for help. We have such an array of referral services that we have to make sure that we pre-screen them so that we can put them with the right specialists to get the right help that they need. So there is a brief one-page application that they complete, and then that tells us exactly where they are, what we can do, and how we can best help them.
Okay. How do they find you?
A lot of our referrals are strictly from word of mouth. We take very good care of our clients when it's one-on-one counseling. A lot of them, when we go through the procedure and get them out of help, then they'll definitely tell their family member, neighbor, or friend. We also have monthly workshops that we conduct in the community, throughout the various community, and we also have several newspaper and radio advertisements that promote us as well. So
Great.
that's how we
How
kind
long
of
has
get
Shoc been in existence?
5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did you choose the name Shoc? I mean, that's such an unusual name, you know.
Well,
Where'd
you
you
know,
get that?
actually, it's funny you should mention that, Kathleen. That was 2 years in the making before we even started the company in 1998. What happened was my husband and I were coming from a workshop that I had taught with a group of realtors. We were at the Board of Realtors, and I had went there to teach them some budgeting strategies with the programs that we have. And so it was a rude awakening because a lot of them had no concept on a lot of the debt management strategies that are being used that they weren't aware of. And so it was kind of like tunnel vision going through a brick wall, and I said, my goodness, you know, these people, I just want to shock them back to reality. Wake up. Don't you know what's happening here? And I said, there it is. Shoc.
Oh.
You know, and my husband kind of said, well, Jamie, that's a great name, but it has to stand for something. And I said, Services Helping Our Community. And he said, well, what about the K? I said, there is none. It's Services Helping Our Community. Because at that point, I had already visualized where we wanted to go with this company. And to this day, we have kept that momentum and kept that integrity and kept that track record. So I'm very excited about that.
That's great. Wonderful. How did the initial passion arise in your heart to help people get out of debt? Where did that come from?
That came from about 5 years of me working through various lending institutions and mortgage companies and as a loan processor, and finding out that a lot of the clients that were coming through that we were trying to pre-screen weren't able to even qualify for loans or refis or things to that nature because their debt to income ratio was so high. And these mortgage companies and lending institutions weren't telling these people what to do other than just come back to me when your situation improves, or come back to me when your debt to income ratio improves. So they weren't really getting any type of assistance to be able to get them from where they were to where they need to be so that they could come back and do those type of things that they were trying to do. So that's where I really had the passion to really want to sit down and help give the education, because these people were just burying themselves deeper and deeper in debt.
And that seems to be a philosophy of this country. You know, when you're 18 or 16, you get the credit card, you have a $500 limit, you don't learn how to manage it because nobody really teaches you, right?
That's right.
And then you get the second credit card because it's just like cool to have that second credit card because now you're like big time.
Yes.
I've met many young people under 21 who are already $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in debt with no way to pay for it. This is awesome that you have put this together. Wow. Well, where do you go once you sit down and take the application? What would be step number 2?
Step number 2 would be making a conscious decision to want to change. This is one of the hardest things when any of the individuals come to us for counseling. It's really a denial process that they're in when they get to us, because the majority of the clients that we deal with are also already so financially distressed that it's really hard for us to kind of deprogram them in a matter of speaking. So we really have to let them know that this is only the beginning. You're going to have to be accountable, and you're going to have to go to work. And that's the hardest part of our job right there, is getting the individuals to be responsible and to be accountable and start taking more control of their finances.
So just going and getting a loan and paying off their bills is not good enough?
Absolutely not. And there's a gazillion companies out there, that Kathleen, that will more than handsomely take their enrollment fee or take their application fee and completely pay their bills for them. And 99.9% of those people that go through other credit counseling agencies or consumer credit counseling for that type of assistance usually end up turning around doing one of two things. Either canceling their payments because they don't have the ability to keep the 3 to 5 year commitment that the company set them up with, or either secondly, ending up filing a specific chapter because they haven't learned any disciplinary strategies to help better themselves.
Wow.
And that's where we really, really differ. That's where Shoc comes in. We give them the tough love, but we also give them the education, because you have to start being accountable. And it not only does it give them more control of their finances, but it also gives them the self-esteem and the courage, and the ability to be able to get themselves back on track.
Well, good. We'll talk more in just a moment. We're going to take off for a station break.
I will never see her walk down the aisle in her graduation gown, because after she had a few wine coolers and a short drive, our family will never be the same. Set boundaries and consequences. Tell your teen, never drink and drive. Check yourself.
Most of us like our money to earn a good return with minimized risk. I am Barry Moore with Edward Jones. We've been helping build financial security for 132 years. You may be interested in high-quality tax-free bonds or the growth potential in high-quality stocks. In either case, let me help you select investments that will meet your long-term goals. My goal is your satisfaction. Give me a call at 272-6820 or stop by my office at 1066 West 6th Street at the intersection of Lincoln, right here in Corona. I look forward to meeting you.
Hi, welcome back to In Our Community. I'm talking with Jamie Mack at Shoc this morning. And Shoc, what a name and what a concept. Isn't this country in enough debt, and isn't it time to stop that? Jamie, this morning you've brought a guest with you. Would you like to introduce her and share her testimony?
Absolutely, thank you. I have with me Marie Reichelt. She is one of our referral services, our tax specialist with accredited tax service, and Marie was here just to kind of share how her involvement with our company is, and also some other things.
Well, yes, I am a part of the referral service with Shoc, and I also am a user of one of the programs with Shoc.
How did you get introduced to Jamie and to her program?
Actually, I got introduced to Jamie through our church here in Corona, and I was doing a Bible study, Crown Financial Ministries, and met Jamie, and she was interested in taking the course.
Okay. And were you in debt? Did you need to actually utilize the services of Shoc?
Oh, I have to admit it. Yes.
Okay.
We started taking the course with Crown, and like Jamie said, we were in denial, and we had to face a lot of things through that course and be held accountable. And one of the things that happened was we started to see, oh my gosh, the path that we're on is heading towards self-destruction or bankruptcy.
Do you think that most people who have any kind of debt, huge debt, live in a denial state?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
And it seems like, especially if you're a strong-willed person, I think you don't want to face that, and so you get more projects going, and you keep putting it in the background. And
Is that kind of when you have the credit card and then you get one with a little less interest? Oh, well, I'll just transfer this amount over here, and then later you get another one. You just keep transferring, and try and make it work. Is that kind of the trap you got into?
That's part of it. And in our case, in our situation, we had been supplementing our income with our investment account. And as you know, what's happened in the last 3 years, the investment account fell dramatically.
Right.
And we kept thinking, oh, well, it's going to go back up. But when you keep pulling money out of the investment account to live on, the investment account falls even quicker. The balance goes down. You keep selling and selling shares and selling shares. So we just kept hoping for the best, so to speak, but without really taking time to say, oh my gosh, let's put on the brakes and let's face this and let's get out of debt. And
Now, how long have you been in the program so far?
well, I started in the program about 14 months ago, a little over a year, and we had a 36-month program, and we were out in 12 months.
So you're already paid?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had
Wow.
quite a bit of debt. We had, I think it was over between $75,000 and $80,000 in debt outside of our mortgage.
My
And,
goodness.
we had to make some serious decisions and changes. And I mean, we went to Jamie. I had no idea I was going to get involved in this program, but I started looking at this, and she was offering help, and I said, okay, you know, I usually do-it-yourself person, but we let her help us. And
What happens, Marie, whenever you're facing this situation and then you know that bankruptcy is so easy? What was the real deciding factor for you?
Well, for me, it was biblical. You know, it was something I owed the money, and I wanted to pay our creditors, and but I still had to do it in the kind of a format that we could afford, without being totally wiped out. Also, and this was a very viable option.
Great. You know, I think Abraham Lincoln had the corner on saving a penny. You know, sometimes we lose sight of what the old standards are. When we save some money and we don't get overburdened in debt, we can actually go through life with some pleasure. But, you know, credit cards are not pleasure, as we can see.
We were just feeling the oppression of the debt, and now I just can't tell you what it's done for our life, our marriage. I mean, we're totally debt-free. We're living within our means, and we live very nicely. We're just very, very grateful that we took Jamie's advice and got enrolled in that program, and it was everything it said it was. I was on the phone with them continually, and we kept up our part. We did what we had to do. We continued to fund the program regularly and timely, and it really did pay off for us.
Now, did you need to go back and get more money out of your retirement program to supplement this payoff, or were you able to really just budget that money and pay for it?
There wasn't very much money left in the retirement program. We did have to sell some assets. We did. We made a decision to sell our home, and you know, we had gone into that just very wisely, you might say, and you know, things happened. We had a lot of equity in our home when we went into it, and I think you're in the
real estate business.
So
Yes,
you know,
I'm there.
we put 30% down on our home. But you know, when you have to borrow money back out, and you were having some trouble with payments, and you were sort of in denial and let it go, when you have to borrow money, not for purchase money, but for refinance, they look at you differently, especially being self-employed and all that stuff. So, you know, we kept we got ourselves into a corner, and we just...
Well, I know from the refinance end of it, whenever you have to refinance because you're in debt, then that interest rate goes up because now you're not as credible as you were before. I have a lot of clients who come to me in that same situation. They're in credit card debt, or they're in, you know, I bought furniture, or I bought this big fancy car, and they need to make some decisions, some real strategic decisions on where they want to go. If they want a home, it's not going to be that easy. Jamie, I know, talking to you, that you kind of get in their face a little bit, you know? Give us a little taste of that, what it is when you're giving that accountable speech. What is it that you say to them? Because that's important. We got to hear that accountable speech.
Well, you know, Kathleen, it's really amazing. You know, over these last just 16 years of just counseling people, I've really learned over the years to give them tough love, you know, because sometimes nice just don't cut it.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, it works. It works because they need instruction, they need direction, and they need to be told what to do so that they don't continue to repeat those same patterns. I'll give you an example. A client of a client and their wife had just came to us, and they were very, very financially distressed. $86,000 of just credit card debt.
That's
department
awful.
store cards. That didn't include their vehicles and their mortgage payment, just credit card
Wow.
debt. And needless to say, they had been instructed to file a specific chapter.
Okay.
They had already filed back in 1998. So needless to say, they were basically just kind of repeating the cycle again because they hadn't learned.
So whenever they go into bankruptcy, they actually plan another 7 to 10 years. And I think mentally people do that. They say, okay, well, I've done it now and I can go out and play and have more fun, and then declare bankruptcy in 7 years again. Is that the cycle that you see that comes through your door?
Absolutely, Kathleen. And that is one of the reasons why we do what we do and strictly give the education. Because these are traits and attributes that they have to pass on to their children, to their families, to their loved ones, to make sure that they can live comfortably toward their retirement. So that's really the reason why we have such a diverse array of professionals that range from budget counselors, legal counselors, tax specialists, mortgage counselors, all of the different areas that we can help them save more of their hard-earned money. A lot of us work very, very hard for our income. We deserve to keep it. So much of it goes out on income tax, sales tax, everything. Ooh. And so what we try to do is we teach them the banker strategies. We tell them what the bankers forgot to tell you about your hard-earned money. Okay. So we use a lot of those banker strategies, Kathleen, to help them take better control of their finances so they can keep more of their hard-earned pay. They work very hard for it. They deserve to keep it. And once they get on a disciplined track with our budget specialist, which every single client that comes to us have to go through the budgeting class, there is no option.
Okay.
And so that's
Boy,
what
that's
usually
tough.
gets
Ouch.
them on track.
Okay.
And it is, especially
yeah.
for a lot of our men, because it's a pride issue.
Ooh, not for the men.
And
no.
they're like, okay, wait a minute, you're telling me, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, And so it's great because then a little light comes on, and then they just kind of breathe.
Whoa, and then the guilt sets in and reality sets in, and they say, okay, I've done it. It's time.
Exactly.
Now, do you have classes or something where people can go and kind of get plugged in?
Yes, we have monthly workshops that are held throughout the community, and they're every third Thursday of the month. We are going to be starting in November having classes in the San Bernardino area, in the Riverside area, and then come the first of the year in January, we're going to be moving to the Los Angeles area.
Wow.
So we are really covering to make sure that we get the saturation in all of the areas, because there's a lot of people out there that are hurting and struggling financially, and they don't have to. There is other help, and there are other alternatives out there other than being able to just relinquish our debt and to take the easy way out.
I know recently my husband and I made the decision to go debt-free, so we sold our home, paid off all our bills, bought a mobile home so that we could stay there, paid cash for that. My bills right now are like $500 a month. And this is just coming into meeting Jamie, and through her, that inspiration happened for me. And I'll tell you, that's just like peace, when you know, whew, I don't have any debt. I don't have to worry about getting out there killing myself to make any money. Yeah, it has to be just awesome for you going through that.
No car debt, no car loans, no
Wow.
credit card loans. We sold our home. We actually have a stock account again.
Good.
But we're
I actually have a savings account, which I didn't have before. So that's good.
We're just making our decisions a little differently, and we're still loving life, and
Good.
things are going great.
Okay. Well, we need to take another break. Just hang on. We'll be right back. See you later.
Hi, I'm Steve Hansen. I've been helping folks buy or sell real estate in the Corona-Norco area since 1999. Recently, we've expanded our services to help folks get money for their real estate needs, whether that's to buy a home or to use the equity in their existing home for remodel or for debt consolidation. Our computer network services take into account your income, your credit, your debt, and your employment to find the best loan available for your personal situation. If you would like more information on how our services can benefit you, please call 909-735-3424. I look forward to talking with you.
Your kids won't tell you what you want to know about ecstasy, but we will. Go to drugfreeamerica.org. Your kids might think they know everything about crystal meth. You really can. Go to drugfreeamerica.org.
Hi, welcome back to In Our Community. This is Kathleen Moon, and I'm talking to Jamie Mack from Shoc. We've had just a wonderful conversation and interaction with her guest, Maria. I think we find that being in debt is embarrassing and we don't want to admit it. So Jamie and I are going to share with you a couple of situations with clients who come through the door who are like freaked out and don't know where to go. Jamie, do you want to share what you were telling me before we went on the air?
Yes, Kathleen. We have a lot of clients that come to us that are in need of help, but when they come to us, even though they ask for help, they really don't want help. They just want a way out, the easy way out. And a lot of the clients have already been instructed to file a specific chapter when they come to us for help. And we really have to let them know it's an accountability factor. And when we let them know that that isn't an option that we give, even though we do have an attorney that will work on their behalf if that arises. But our main goal is to help them reestablish and repair their credit, not to further hurt them or damage them. So when the client and his wife, we had a similar situation where a client and his wife came to us for help, but they had already paid a small retainer to an attorney to file a specific chapter. So what we did is we sat down and showed them our program and our option of being able to help them reestablish themselves without having something stay on their credit or damage them for 10 years. So we let them know you can do it this way, or you can do it that way.
Is that part of your Tough Love program?
That is absolutely part of the Tough Love program. And that's one of the things that people have to kind of just let it sink in for a second. Because they're quick to write a check, Kathleen. I mean, they will write a check to get out of this debt to say, hey, I don't want to do it anymore, only to wait to have to do it another 7 years because they haven't learned anything. So they had to kind of just sit there and really kind of say, hey, listen, we are going to have to be accountable for this. We created this debt. And if we do this program, it's going to get us out of this debt in 30 months.
Now, do you find that maybe the husband or the wife blames the other party for the debt? Do you find that often?
Kathleen, you know, it's funny you should mention that. It's like I'm saying, whoa, you know, I'm not a referee here, you know, back and forth, you know, who did what to whom? And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute, we got to get together on this. This is what the problem is right now. The left hand's not knowing what the right hand is doing. Let's go ahead and just start working together on this as a team. You know, and over my 16 years of working with individuals, you know, it's just a blessing to see how many marriages have actually come together in unity, because now it's not his checkbook or her checkbook, it's our checkbook. You know, it's not just his debt or my debt, it's our debt. Before we went debt free, I had the hardest time with my husband because we had two separate checkbooks, and I would spend and he would spend, and then come to the end of the month, there's like, oh, well, it's your fault. You spent too much money. And so we'd be in a big old fight. Well, now I'm finding out that because we have one checkbook, and I've said to him, I've actually given him the leadership in that, and I said, okay, you take care of the finances, and we'll just discuss what we do. And it has really helped in our relationship. We communicate better. Just from my own standpoint, and I didn't have to come to Jamie because the situation worked better for me, you know, selling my house. But nonetheless, the idea of making the structure for the family was just awesome. Yes. And I know when Jamie shares with me about the other families, putting things in right. Let's talk about it, let's discuss it, and let's make that decision together.
It really pays off.
Yes, it does.
Pays off.
Absolutely.
Good deal. Well, you were sharing with me too, Jamie, that there's other people involved in this program. So do you have affiliates, or do you have other programs or other
Yes,
people?
we
How
do.
does that work?
Yes, we do. We have 14 referral services that we have right now, and it's just great because they all have the same heart, the same passion, and the same willingness to want to help people get out of debt.
Wow. We're going to have to take another break. Geez, it's so exciting. We'll be right back.
It will be 365 days till I can drive across town to help my cousin with his homework. You know what I'm saying? 52 weeks till I take my friends to the drive-thru after school. Check it out. A year going out with my lady on the bus. I try to cover my high. The CHP saw right through it. I lost my license, my job, my car, everything. I had to pay the price. Don't do it. Never drink and drive. Check yourself.
Hi, welcome back to In Our Community. Jamie Mack and I are just excited about the program that we've been talking about. You just mentioned you had some other companies involved with you, and you said how many there were?
Yes, 14 referral services.
14 referral services. Yes. Wow, that's wonderful. How can we reach you, Jamie?
You can reach us through our website at debityourdebt.com.
So it's
www.debityourdebt.com.
Okay.
And also through our referral website, www.helpingourcommunity.org.
Okay, good. And is there a phone number real quick?
Yes, the phone number is 909-278-8069.
Great. Jamie, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Kathleen.
This is
it's
wonderful.
Always a pleasure.
And you know what, folks? Don't be ashamed of where you are. You can always get out of it. And there is life after debt. I want you to have an awesome day. We'll see you later. Bye.